I'm in my car at 1 a.m. because I just had this idea that I know has to be talked about, and that is relationship advice and how to approach it, especially when it comes to navigating advice from friends and family. And I see so many influencers, they have very strong opinions. They say, if this is a red flag, you have to leave if they do XYZ. Oh, this is a red flag, you can't, deal with that. And to a degree, I do like this because we are elevating the standards for relationships, and I do think that those influencers have pushed me to become a better person. But there is an exception in the fact that not everyone has the opportunity. Not everyone has the mental and emotional capability to really rise to those standards that influencers are saying. And that's when we turn into narcissism, because people are starting to have unrealistic standards for who they are dating. So I will hear people say, this is a red flag, like this is not what you can accept. And I'm here to say, there is a gray area, and life is a gray area, and that you should not be living on these rigid rules of how a relationship is. And this definitely relates, I'll talk about this later, but this definitely relates to commenting about your relationship, asking for advice from friends and family. So, this is the thing, right? I'll tell you my story of how this relates. I had a friend, and she told me, I'll actually tell you two stories. I had a friend, and she told me, I can't remember what she said exactly, but she was saying, oh my god, my boyfriend's overreacting, and he keeps complaining and da-da-da-da. And, she just kept going on. And I was like, what did you do? And she's like, oh my god, nothing. He just does da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh my god, you should break up with him. And later on, she told me, she was like, I didn't tell you this, but actually the reason why he's upset is because I threatened to break up 5 times and I wouldn't talk to him for a week. And then I would come back, and I was like, he's not overreacting. I was like, girl, you are toxic AF. I said it in love. I wasn't rude, and by the way, I don't hate her for this. Again, you have to be in a gray area. Everyone makes mistakes. As long as you're not going in an extreme, I can get past it. And what's another story? So the whole point of what I was saying is that, this guy was toxic, but also she was toxic. Not super toxic, but they were moderately toxic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they're a perfect fit. What's another story? I knew this guy, and he would complain to me about how his girlfriend was super abusive emotionally. She would get drunk and then say tons of mean words, and he said oh my gosh, it hurts so bad, and I can't stand it, and da-da-da. Do you know what I ended up finding out? Apparently she was super mad because he wasn't paying the bills, and he wasn't working on his career, and he just kept smoking weed. And then, you won't believe this, and you know what was annoying? Is that his girlfriend, he would be like, oh my god, my girlfriend is so controlling, and his girlfriend wouldn't let him talk to girls, and then he would go off and talk to girls. Now, this is the thing, I don't personally do that as a girlfriend. I'm not very controlling. Actually, I think I'm a little bit, I've learned from past experiences that you really should set boundaries with the opposite sex. I don't think you should be hanging out one-on-one. That's just my opinion. I think you can hang out in groups. You can talk in a very casual setting. I just don't think you should get close. unless there's like a really platonic connection and I can see like there's a dynamic that it wouldn't go past that. But anyway, he was telling me about how she was so controlling and he wanted to have friends, and friends who were girls, and he was saying like this girl, you know, there was a girl and she was really successful and supporting him, and he was like, this girl supports me and she doesn't. And I was supportive too, and I was like, at first I was like, wow, she's so controlling and oh my god, she sucks. And you know what, I really encouraged him to break up. You know, I thought she was bad. I genuinely thought she was bad. But then again, I found out that he wasn't paying the bills. She was super worried, right? They're both like 30, right? And like he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have like any degree or anything. Like it was super valid that she was worried. And then the other thing, this was the thing that was like, oh my god, this guy is a piece of... He was like, you know what? He thought that me being friendly meant that I wanted to date him. And he told me, would you be with me if I left her? And I was like, what? This is cheating. This is literally cheating. I don't even know like how that came out of his mouth. And I was like, oh my god, this guy is so toxic. And it was that realization where I was like, yeah, I'm never going to interfere in a toxic relationship again, because they were both toxic. So those are like my personal stories. I realize, you know, you just don't interfere. And to a degree, of course, like if something is really out of hand, I think you should. But you know, problems happen. So how does that relate to getting advice from your friends and family? Let's start with context. Like if you're in a courtroom, or if you're painting a narrative or sharing a story, not including a couple of details will completely change the narrative. It will completely change the emotions. It will completely change the way you see the characters. So like for example, if you hear, oh, Sally cheated on John, and Sally screamed at John, right? But John isn't telling you that he's cheated on Sally like 5 times, and he took all the money and like gambled it away when it was her emergency savings, and now she doesn't have emergency savings, and then now she's like worried about paying her rent, and he won't pay the rent. Like, do you understand like how just a couple of details can completely change the conversation? So that's an extreme, but like how does that relate to your everyday life? When you have that urge to go and talk to your family and your friends, when you're confused and you have this misunderstanding, that misunderstanding comes from the fact that you don't understand those crucial details that completely change the argument. Like what feelings that this person is feeling that is starting the argument, what logical facts. Because the thing is, when you have that misunderstanding, you're probably devaluing the things that your partner is upset about. But the thing is, because you don't value that and you kind of forgot it, you never mention those crucial details to your friends, to your family, right? So when you're talking to your family and your friends and you're like, oh my god, like this person did XYZ, you're gonna probably forget the crucial details. That's why you had the misunderstanding in the first place. Right? That's why you had the misunderstanding. And the second thing is, your friends and your family, they always want the best for you to the point where they forget that you are a flawed human being. They just want the best for you. And it is in good intentions, but they're always going to see you as a saint. Like, they're gonna like look at you and give you the benefit of the doubt like 60% of the time. Like, they're always gonna like give you the benefit of the doubt. So your partner is gonna always look evil, okay? So talking to your friends, to your family, is a relationship death sentence. If you need someone to give you advice on your relationship, you're simply just not ready. You need to prepare beforehand, because the only person who knows your relationship in and out is you. That's all. Thank you for chiming in.